This is the day the Lord has made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
Reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, Lord.
Mary Magdalene stayed outside the tomb weeping, and as she wept, she bent over into the tomb and saw two angels in white sitting there, one at the head and one at the feet, where the body of Jesus had been. And they said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken my Lord, and I don't know where they laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus there, but did not know it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" She thought it was the gardener and said to him, "Sir, if you carried him away, tell me where you laid him, and I will take him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Stop holding on to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and tell them, I am going to my Father and your Father, to my God and to your God." Mary went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord," and then reported what he had told her. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
I really love this Gospel. Of course, I should probably say that about any of the Gospels. But, Mary had just lost a great friend. And she was really thought her life was crumbling. I mean, Mary had to reach up simply to touch bottom. She was that low. So, even in her despair, she is searching for Christ. Now, she doesn't expect to find him alive, because her and the apostles and Mary the mom, Mary the mother of Christ, sometimes I think Mary had a little insight. But the rest of them did not understand what rising from the dead meant. They were confused. They thought Jesus was gone. Everything was going to happen on the earth. He was going to be king of the earth. He was going to raise an army, kick out the Romans. That was the plan. Now he's dead. She saw him crucified, pierced, laid in the tomb. But she's still searching for him, even just to be near his dead body. Because when we're in deep despair, who should we turn to? Who should we go to? Well, it's Christ. When we're stepped in sin, where do we go? We go to Christ in the confessional. Because in the confessional is the priest, and he is in persona Christi. He is in the person of Christ. And we go to him, to Christ, for that consolation, for that loving embrace, for that forgiveness. I've heard over the years, I've heard two sayings I've heard a couple of times. There's no atheist in the jetliner that's going down, and there are no atheists in foxholes. So it seems like whenever we're troubled, whenever we're fearful, there's this thing in our heart that just drives us to Jesus Christ. Now, what I find interesting, and I'm going to tell you my opinion here. You won't find this in Catholic dogma that I'm aware of. But why does Jesus Christ not let Mary recognize him to begin? And my opinion of that, again, I stress this is my opinion, I've not seen this in any dogma, is that he wants us to understand that Christ is in everybody. And we need to recognize Christ in everybody. And we need to do for other people who are hurting, like Mary was hurting, Mary Magdalene was hurting, and Christ came and comforted her. And
that's what I think is the message of today's gospel, is we're to recognize Christ in everybody, and especially when they're hurting, to be there for them. Yesterday, my heart was just singing after the service, and I had to tell my wife when I got home. I was just so, I was excited and was so, I'm looking for the right word, gratified. So, wow, this is really, it's really got together here. But when Pat came and he wanted a blessing from the deacon, which actually is not from me, I mean, I'm just the messenger. The blessing is actually coming from God, and to lead in prayer for him. Because naturally, surgery's scary, you know. But what really gratified me was the number of people that stood around beside Pat and his wife and prayed with him. Pat just didn't come to me. He came to Christ and all of us in his fear. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be there for the Pats of the world. To be there when they need support. Because Christ in today's gospel shows us that love conquers death. He also lets us permit desolation. He lets us permit sorrow because there is consolation. We are, Christ is in us. Be that consolation. Look for our brothers and sisters that need us. And then be there for them.